Let's take our homemade butter and buttermilk and make biscuits. So to start off, you're going to need 3 cups of bread flour, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, and 2½ teaspoons of sugar. Now we just go ahead and mix that up. And next we're going to want to grate about 1/2 pound of our homemade butter. You are going to want to freeze this butter so it's easier to grate, otherwise it's all going to stick together. Next, go ahead and combine all of that butter with the flour, and when you're done it's going to look like this. Okay, next step is to take that homemade buttermilk and pour in about 1 cup. I hold back about 1/4 cup so we can pour that in after we're halfway done mixing. Go ahead and start combining everything, and it's going to look too dry and pretty lumpy, but that's okay. Next, go ahead and pour in the rest of that buttermilk, and just finish mixing everything together. One thing with buttermilk biscuits is the batter is going to look wrong. It's going to feel like it's too dry, it's going to seem like it's not going together like a normal dough. But trust the process, this is what we're looking for. You just kind of want everything to stick together like this. Once you can handle the dough, go ahead and take it out of the bowl, and the next step is to flatten it out and do some mild lamination. And basically all that means is we're going to fold it in half a few times. Add some flour so it's easier to handle, then fold it in half like this. We're going to repeat this process 4 to 6 times. I gave the dough a few folds in the bowl, and now I'm going to give it a few more. Going over 6 folds doesn't really help you, so anywhere between 4 and 6 folds and you're going to be golden. Most people are going to make their biscuits round. I actually make mine square, shout out to Josh Wiseman. Doing this makes the biscuits look better in my opinion, plus you got more crispy edges, and you don't have to fiddle around with that round punch-out thing. Now that we folded it in half 4 to 6 times, we're going to go ahead and flatten it out to make a nice, even rectangle. The idea here is to be able to cut out a grid of square biscuits. I won't have any waste, and I won't have to recombine dough to cut out another biscuit. I always find it easiest to make even cuts if you start in the middle, and then just cut those sections in half again. And lastly, we're going to cut 2 lines down the middle, and we should end up with a grid of 12 biscuits. Go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees and place them on a lined cookie sheet. I like using parchment paper, but if you're not going to do that and just put it straight on the pan, go ahead and butter the bottom of the pan. Okay, now that we got them on our sheet pan, we're going to go ahead and put butter on the tops of each one. After we add butter to each biscuit, we're going to put some kosher salt, just a little bit, on the top of each one as well. And that's pretty much it. We're going to put it in the oven for about 20 to 22 minutes, and when they're done, they look like this. You can see they have a dry, craggy exterior. It's kind of crispy on the outside, but the inside is extremely soft and fluffy like a pillow. And that's what we're looking for when we're making biscuits. We want it to have a little bit of a crunch on the exterior, but the inside to be fluffy like a cloud. And look at that. You can actually see each individual layer, so that's why we did the lamination, so that you can have layers and layers and layers of beautiful biscuit. And as long as you didn't overmix the dough, this is what you're going to end up with. Now to taste them. The perfect biscuit. And now the only thing left is to make some sausage and gravy.